Hello and welcome to the channel. So Sony out here trying to outdid Nintendo. Obviously you guys are all aware of what's going on with the whole Nintendo Doug Bowser comments, thinking like he's Don Matrick. I feel like this is an out of season joke, like the guy said. Is this some sort of an out of season joke? $80 for Mario Kart, $90 if you want physical in other countries is absolutely nasty work. But Sony over here is still trying to capitalize on The Last of Us lore with their TV shows. They want $110 for this lovely steelbook. You're getting two games. You're getting the remake as well as the remaster and all the DLCs that comes with it. To me, it's still an excessive amount because you can shop around and get the game for a very, very low price. Like if you go to OfferUp or eBay, you can find The Last of Us remake for about 30-40 bucks, and you can get yourself The Last of Us Part 2 for the PlayStation 4 for like $20-30 or even less than that. And then just pay the upgrade for 10 bucks and you can get the whole lot for about $40 for a physical copy. But no, they want 110. Greedy bastards. So, you do get a steelbook. That's about it. That's it. And you get Dreams Comics, The Last of Us American. I can't read it. It's so small. Let's see. Maybe there's more information here on the page. You get The Last of Us American Dreams comics number 1 through 4 with new cover art, set of 4 holographic art prints. Yay! More crap. Honestly, this is such a disappointment. I mean, how many times did they have to release the same game just because the show is out? You didn't need to make this, Sony. You already have the game. You have The Last of Us. Remade it. You remastered it for the PlayStation 4, and then you remade it for the PlayStation 5. Same thing with The Last of Us Part 2. You remastered it for the PlayStation 5. What are you going to remake it for the PlayStation 6? I'm so sick of Sony with all this remake and remasters nonsense. Instead of, if you're going to remaster a game, why not remaster like Infamous or what is that war game? Like, any one of the kill zones, maybe. Siphon Filter. What? There was also another one. I cannot remember the name of it, but it was on the PlayStation 3, and I downloaded the PlayStation 3 emulator so I can play it because I've never owned a PlayStation 3. I can't think of the game, but anyway, there's a tons of Bloodborne. Bloodborne. Could remake that. A lot of fans are excited about that. Something they really want. They would spend that cash money. It would be a cash cow. You could charge $70 for it, and people would have bought it. But anyway, I feel like these companies are just using the whole tariff thing as a reason to just jack up the prices. And even Nintendo themselves have said that, the prices was determined before any of the tariffs took place. So now that the tariffs are going to be taking place, they decided to halt on their pricings. So we might get even additional price increases, whether it would be for the Switch 2 or for the games to make it even more expensive. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo comes out and say, hey, by the way, we're going to go ahead and charge $90 for the digital version of Mario World. And then we're also going to be charging an additional $100 for the physical. You heard that right. 100 smackaroons. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the next Grand Theft Auto is $100. And now, before I always remembered Nintendo as being they were doing their own thing. Like everybody was just either you get a PlayStation 5 and they Switch, or you get an Xbox and they Switch. Now it seems like now you're gonna have to choose between the three, because the Switch is a little bit more powerful, but not as powerful as the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X, honestly. But now, Doug Bowser is calling us poor. As we look at the Nintendo Switch 2, you think about the features sets that I talked about. We believe that the pricing is appropriate for the value of the machine and the gameplay experience overall, Bowser said. We recognize that there are some people that may not be able to afford Switch 2's price point. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available. You calling us poor? You say if you can't afford it, go ahead and purchase a Switch 1. So people still have an opportunity to come into our gaming universe, be part of these characters in these worlds, and see value, if you will, in whatever rung the platform they come in. But see, this is my dilemma. Like, I'm not a super Nintendo fanboy. Like, I'm not like all like salivating over Nintendo's products. I'm not one of those. I'm a gamer. I have all the consoles. I have an Xbox. I have a PlayStation, and I have a Switch, Steam Deck, and a PC gaming. So I have enough devices here to hold me off until the next iteration of the Switch 2 comes out, the one with the OLED. I don't know why they would go back to LCD when they just announced their latest one. The last one that came out was OLED. I don't know why they just couldn't come out with an OLED. Even if you have to charge a little bit more, fucking do it. Give us that better, brighter looking screen. But anyway, that's me. While it's not as direct as Don Matrick's response regarding the Xbox One requiring a consistent internet connections 2013, it isn't something that most likely to sit well with a lot of players. And it kind of, another comments that comes into mind too, besides the ones that I said earlier, is if you don't like it, don't buy it. And that one came from one of the developers over there at EA when people were criticizing the Battlefield game, and he pretty much said, hey, if you don't like it, don't buy it. And people did not buy, and guess what happened? The game sucked ass, and a lot of people didn't buy it, and they didn't make a shit ton of money. But it's EA, so they can afford to take those losses. But anyway, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are about these two situations of what's going on with Sony as well as Nintendo. $109 for a complete edition of The Last of Us, but technically you can get used copies for way less than that. And Sony's always having a sale too, so look out for those. You don't need to spend $109 just for the collector's edition. You don't need it. I'm telling you that. All right. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.